this. Now, these are my paintings in the background. They're not available yet. They are going to be available when my book is published. I'm still writing the captions for this book, but it's going to be really cool, and I can't wait until that's out. But all the paintings are finished. I just have to work on the captions. Now, this is actually public domain art, which I use occasionally, not very often. It's a little out of focus, I don't know why. But this is a great piece, and I want to feature this for a special reason. I love this piece, and I will put her with my generic doll, Lucy. Well, I really like Lucy. Now, this was a Russian artist. It was painted in the 1790s. It's a dispute on how old the portrait actually is, which is why it's controversial. The winner, the owner, whose last name was Rice, so it's called the Rice portrait, is a direct descendant of the Austen line, so the Jane Austen line. Not of Jane Austen, because of course she never married or had any children, but she had a lot of brothers and one sister. Now, her one sister never had any children either, but she had a lot of brothers. I think 6 brothers and one sister. So this portrait is believed to be painted for marriageability, and assumingly Cassandra Austen would also had a portrait made for her, but that one was lost to history. Now, it's controversial. Some people say it's not her, it can't be her. Now, I'm going to go through the reasons why it probably is her. Jane Austen was said to be dark hair, brown eyes, which this portrait sports. You can see the dark hair, brown eyes. Tall. She was said to be tall. Fashionable. Very fashionable. So she wore up-to-date fashions. And there's other clues that it's probably her. Now, of all the portraits that were done of her, they don't look as nice as this. For one, they weren't as professionally made. Her sister painted them. Her sister was brilliant when it came to landscapes, not so perfect when it came to faces. She did wonderful illustrations and cartoon work, but everything was more cartoonish. Like, my art is cute, but it's very cartoonish and cute, and it's fun and whimsical, but it's not actually realistic. Not all of Cassandra's paintings, or none of them, were really realistic except for her scenes. She was really good at painting outdoorscapes. Faces, not as much. Her silhouettes were beautiful. But now here's the reason I believe, other than just the everything. Jane Austen's silhouette and all the other paintings are actually of a cute woman with a large nose. Her profile, larger nose. This sports a very large nose. Now, some people didn't believe it was her portrait because she's pretty. She is pretty. And they said, oh, the writer of these novels can't be pretty. Yeah, she can. She had several suitors. People asked her to marry them. They did, more than once. She only accepted one more marriage proposal, and then she thought better of it the next day, and then said, I don't want to marry you. Harris Bigwither. Now, the probable cause of her refusing him, he was a friend. He was living with friends of hers in the town she was from, and she really wanted to go home. She was living in Bath at the time, and she really didn't like it. It was after her father retired. She was 27, he was 22, he was a little young. And, and she's had, they name that Irishman she had a romance with as the great romance of her life. Truthfully, she met a man when she was in Bath. He was on vacation. He left for a couple weeks. He spent a great deal of time with their family. And then he says, oh, I'm going to come back. He never did come back. And they were sent a letter from the man's brother, and he had suddenly passed away. Now, most likely, this is another reason she rejected the other man. She was still in love with the mysterious man that we're really not sure what his name was. And Cassandra didn't burn the letters from the Irishman. But there's no clue to the man's name who passed away because those parts of the letter, those were destroyed. So it's probably she rejected him because she was still in love with this man that she met in Bath. So there you go. I do believe this is Jane Austen. It's consistent with the profile, the height. She was considered to be pretty and fashionable, and men did ask her to marry him, at least 3 that I know of. So she had to be at least, she was fashionable, pretty, witty, and there you go. I do believe this is her portrait. This is actually no longer available. This is a portrait that I did last year to mimic the style. Of course, she's holding a knife because it's more of a tongue-in-cheek book. This is another portrait that I did for a different book. You can see those aren't the same style, so that is a different book than this one is for. And I hope you enjoyed this little history lesson mini documentary. And subscribe if you would like to see more Jane Austen and dolls.